It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to The Local Show, the 2023 Summer Edition. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, the CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. Now, you're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. We say a hearty, healthy hello to Steve Roberts, who's back from his 72 weeks of vacation.
You take a day off, and then, there's all this piling on.
Sure.
It's funny because it's true.
It's not
That's
true.
what makes it funny. Huh?
No, so I take a couple days here and there.
A couple of weeks. What are you talking about?
No, I
Weeks
didn't
and
take. I took a week. It just felt longer because you missed me.
No, I didn't miss you. I don't think anybody missed you.
No,
Let's take a survey.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're out on vacation, do you wear a two-piece or a one-piece bathing suit?
that's kind of a personal question. I identify as a guy that just, kind of throw. Yeah, no.
I take you as a jams kind of guy. Remember jams?
No,
you never wore jams. No, you weren't one of the cool kids.
Well,
I had several pairs of jams.
what's a jam? I don't know what a jam is.
He's too old to know what jams are.
Isn't
There
that
you go.
something?
Who invited her?
I'll say it.
Can't be.
We haven't even
We're the
invited
same
her.
age.
He's older than No.
Yeah, I'm 59.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a good-looking 59,
I'm only
aren't
5 minutes older than you.
But yeah, the jams had all those wacky patterns on them, and they went down to your knees, as opposed to like in the late 70s and early 80s, where gym shorts for guys were like really high and they looked really goofy. Yes. But anyway, hey, look, folks, we got a great show for you. Aside from talking about jams, we have Michelle Chatreau, who's going to join us for the first segment. She's the president of N.E.T. and Die. Joe Bolignone is the founder of Mission Syracuse. Dave Vollmer, owner of Vollmer Farms, will stop by representing Onondaga Grown. Charlie Roman, the owner of Daniela's Steakhouse and Daniela's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House. Josh Lang, pastor of Redeemer Church here in Syracuse. Jimmer Sokowski stops by. He's the owner of Chick-fil-A in Cicero and in Clay. And then Sheila Ostrom wraps us up. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. Right now, we say hearty, healthy hello to Michelle Chatreau. It's been a while, Michelle. Where you been hanging
It's
out?
been a little long, right, Tom?
Well,
She didn't want to come back.
I'm getting a little jealous. I feel like Jimmer's on the show way more than I am.
you are.
Jim is more interesting.
That's not true.
I'm not coming back.
So how about you?
Is that a promise?
Are you a one-piece girl or a two-piece at this stage of life?
Cut that out of this interview.
That's an interesting
Things
question.
not to talk to.
Inquiring minds
You
want
got
to
her
know.
blushing. She never blushes.
Tom, I expect that from Steve.
See, you would think that a person who's an engineer and owns a, N.E.T. and Die wouldn't, we wouldn't talk about bathing suits.
Wait a minute, Tom. What is an N.E.T. and Die?
I don't know. You tell me. Although I did take a lot of pictures over there. I remember sparks flying and machining going on and all that.
So Michelle, why don't you tell people that have no clue what we're talking about yet?
What is
N.E.T. and Die?
Yeah.
How'd you get there? And then your time will be up. Go ahead.
Yes.
That won't be done.
Now, first of all, you're in Fulton.
We're in Fulton, New York. So we are a custom machine shop, third generation, family owned. My grandfather started it in 1965-ish.
Okay.
So we do low volume production and like service.
What do you mean by low volume as opposed to high volume?
There you go. He's quick.
It's custom stuff. They're not making 1 million of anything.
Yes.
Oh, I got you. Right.
So we don't. There are machine shops that do the 1 million, right? Like, so they do more higher volume. work. We do low volume. We do a lot of service and repair work for local industry. So if you're a manufacturing company and you have parts that break down, right?
Yes.
So you can bring it to us. We'll make you a new one, or we'll repair what you have so you can keep going. We just had an OEM here locally that they went to order a part. It was a 54-week lead time. Lead times are crazy for people.
That is crazy.
So you made
So
it?
well, we're in the process of making
How
it.
cool.
Yes. So they drop off the worn out parts and say, here, make us new ones. And
So
that's
what
part
is
of
your
what we do.
background? You say your grandfather did it. Did you just wake up one day and say, geez, I really love to build things, or?
Not quite like that. So I am an engineer by degree. So I'm a mechanical engineer. I've always been in manufacturing engineering in different industries. So I've been in injection molding. I've been in assembly.
Okay.
So I came back a little over 4 years ago to run the family business.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. How many employees do you have up there?
We have about 24 now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have running water in Fulton
Yes.
and electricity?
Do I have to answer dumb questions?
You do, yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, let's ask a real question. Is there a T in Fulton?
That's terrible.
So you just lost like your whole Fulton listening audience.
We offend the Oswego County crowd every week, just to be clear. Tell me about, there's a whole manufacturing big rah-rah at the state fair. Tell me about that.
Yes.
So last year, the New York State Fair started this new, the skilled trade exhibition, right? So
Right.
they have a whole building for skilled trades. So carpenters, electricians, technicians.
Tool and die people.
And machinists,
Yes,
right?
machinists, right.
So we joined last year, and we had a booth there promoting skilled trades,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, we want to hire people. We want to hire skilled machinists, but we also want to promote machining as a trade. So machining really hasn't been promoted over
Why would someone want to be a machinist? Serious question.
because it's a good paying job, right? There is a definite career in machining. You could work for a wonderful company like ours.
Right.
Right.
Well, and it's funny, at the end of the day, you've made something,
Yeah,
and
like,
there's a
yes.
satisfaction.
And solved the
of
problem.
building
If that's
something.
right.
Yeah.
Like I find satisfaction in
Yes,
that, right?
yes.
Like physically seeing something made out
Right.
of nothing, right? That brings me satisfaction. If you're very detail oriented, right? Like machining could be a good trade for you to go into.
Yeah.
So we're out there just promoting machining as a skilled trade because people know what electricians are, people know what a plumber is, but a lot of people don't know
understand
what.
the
They don't know what
machining,
machining is.
There's a small
So,
business
yeah.
with a heart. You got involved with ALS and supporting some things that they're doing. What have you got going on this fall for them?
So this fall, September 22nd, is our 4th annual Nelson Walter Memorial Golf Tournament. So Nelson was our quality inspector for over 20 years, and he was diagnosed with ALS. Passed away just over 4 years ago. And so we do a golf tournament in his memory and to raise money for our local ALS organization.
Yeah, and it's a fun tournament. I've been part of it.
Yes.
It is a fun tournament.
Yes.
Up at, what's the golf course?
Emerald Crest.
Emerald Crest. I want to call it
Yep.
Emerald Crest. That's another place. Emerald Crest.
Also in Oswego County, Fulton, New York.
Right. It's kind of on the edge. I call that Palermo.
Well, it's still
Where the guy used to sell chicken. Does he still chicken? There was a guy, Tom, up there that had really good chicken on a corner.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's like every other corner.
Well, that's true. It's in Oswego
Not sure
County.
about that one.
So if people want to register for that, maybe participate, hey, maybe donate to the cause. Door prizes, sponsors.
Yeah.
So Steve, new this year, we have a $50,000 hole-in-one.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
If the person doesn't hit it in, does the one closest to the pin get to keep the 50K?
No.
Not at all.
No, in the hole. And there's also 3 other hole-in-one contests. So,
Very nice.
you may not be winning it, Steve, but
I'm going to be there.
There's others.
So September 22nd, sponsored by N.E.T.
N.E.T. and Die.
and Die, and they can get information there. They can register there. They can connect.
NETanddie.com.
And do
There
it.
you
And
go.
it's an awesome small business right here in Central New York, kind of near Fulton.
Michelle, thank you so much. It's great to see you again. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Tom. It's good
Okay.
seeing you again.
All right. Coming up next, we'll talk to Joe Bolignone, who's the founder of Mission Syracuse, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. You found The Local Show, your last bastion of talk radio right here on 570 WSY.
We're not the last bastion of talk radio. You can't help yourself.
Yeah.
We might be the last bastion on the weekends on talking local business in Syracuse with Tom and Steve as the host.
There you go.
If you narrow it.
You can narrow it right down.
I like the sound of it. I thought it was impressive.
That's right, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it almost had you believing
not
it.
true.
It's just, almost had you believing. Hey, Gettys Federal Savings and Loan has been with us for a while. Steve, why don't you tell people why they should do business with them?
I think because my biggest thing, I would say, it's a thing, Tom, is they're right here. And so many people go far away to all these crazy places. They're available. They are giving great CD rates. I saw that. If the market still creeps you out and you want to get a decent rate of return, you can put your money over there at Gettys in a CD. And then on the other side, people still buying houses. You can get it here, get it local. They don't pile on all these secret fees and charges. And, oh, didn't you know? No. What was in the small print? There's no small print.
They have a variety of different types.
But if you're going to do something, get it at Gettys. Have a conversation with them. GettysFederalSavingsLoan.com, Tom.
There you go. It's our pleasure to bring back on to the show Joe Bolignone. How are you, Joe?
Wonderful. I'm thrilled you said my name right. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
My Italian fratello.
Thank you, Mr. Bogini.
Thanks, Mr. Roberts.
My paisan.
Yeah, that's right.
Founder of Mission Syracuse. Tell people what Mission Syracuse is.
Basically, it's a network organization. Christians in the Bible, they talk about the Church of Philadelphia, the Church of Smyrna, the Church of Colossae. This is the Church of Syracuse. It's people across denominational lines coming together to impact the community. And it's kind of like networking like we've done in our business world, only it's a faith-based thing, and we're impacting the community by reaching out for different venues. And we have a store in the mall now, second floor of Macy's Wing, Mission Syracuse. We call it an outpost. People come in there. There's inspirational gifts. Just like Sacred Melody, but people come in there to ask questions, and we pray with them, visit with them,
very nice.
Have coffee with them. I can tell you that happens a lot because I have stains to clean on the carpet this weekend.
But it's not a church.
It's not a church. It's a place to hang out where you can come and find somebody who loves you and cares about you.
Right. So isn't it true that some of the best Christians are Italians?
I think so. Cornelius and the Italian band, man, in Acts chapter 10.
Yeah. See, I know you.
Sorry, Steve. I'm sorry.
No, you can't help it.
Tom and I got this thing going on.
So what is a church?
Church is people getting together. They've found the peace there is in Jesus, and they can share that fellowship, whether it's two people. I got a friend in Pakistan. They've got 3,000 house churches, anywhere from 2 to 20 people meeting. Wow. Church buildings are fantastic. In America, we love that. But the church is just, we're having church today.
Right, yeah, just being together.
Yeah.
And you have a big event where you draw a lot of people over at the ballpark, don't you?
That's been fantastic. The Mets, we've actually worked with the Crunch, but the Mets is coming up next week. And then the day after that, which I'll give you some information on. But Daryl Strawberry is going to give his testimony. And, Tom and I, we have this musical background.
Sure.
We had the common sense to get a day job. But we're putting together this killer band again, and we're going to perform some music. And then Daryl's going to speak. And, of course, it's called Faith and Family Night.
Tell us more about this.
It's August 18th. It's a Friday night. There's fireworks. We're going to have testimonies from different ball players. And we're going to hand out some gospel literature. It's just a good time to impact people. My script always, I include this, that 4 out of 5 people don't really go to church these days.
Yeah.
So you have to take the walls off the church. Steve, I got that idea from Paul Wagner.
There we go.
Many years ago. And put the joy of the Lord on display, not be preachy or stuffy, but just go, hey, we love you, man, and God loves you too. Let's have a good time together.
So this is next Friday night, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. This is next Friday night, Friday 18th. How do people get involved? They just show up, they buy tickets, they
buy tickets
land a helicopter in there. How the heck do they do this?
I'd love the helicopter thing, but no, they just show up and buy tickets. But the best way is to go online. If you look at mission-syracuse.com, there's a UR code. Put your phone on that thing, takes you right to the website. You can buy tickets there, but there's a drop-down menu for all these churches who are involved. So if your church is involved, you click on your church and you get $4 per ticket rebate to your church to put towards some good work.
Daryl Strawberry, nice. Tell me more about him.
I know they played for the Yankees and the Mets, and I think somebody else. Forgive me, I don't know.
No, he was all
Is
that.
he around our age or how old
I
is
think he is.
now?
Yeah, he was in '86. He was a World Series Mets, Yankees shortly after that. But he's got a wonderful testimony. He got involved in drugs after that.
Oh, did he?
So he got drug after. Okay.
And then he came to the Lord. Jesus set him free from drugs, and he's out there to tell people, and he's real famous in the athletic world. So we're having him come in and speak.
That is pretty cool.
No, that is very cool. So what else is going on with Mission Syracuse?
So the very next day, there's something called the Family Fun Fest. I had this idea. Ken and I actually, it was Ken's idea. Ken's behind me, by the way,
Right.
giving me sign signals, hand motions. To
Wave to you
know
two,
what to
Ken.
say.
Give it away.
So,
There we go.
Ken, tell me what I'm doing wrong here.
Ken Mogg is the, what does he do?
Vice
in the
president.
organization? Vice president
of the board, and he's the
Gotcha.
brains behind the operation.
Excellent.
I'm the person.
He doesn't look that smart.
Yeah, no, it's true, isn't it? I tell him that all the time. But we thought about having a Christian jazz fest.
Oh, nice.
Food court, bounce houses, face painting rides, live music again all day long.
Yeah,
9 different church worship bands are doing the day venue, and the Mission Syracuse band's doing the night venue. It'll be entertaining. It'll be inspirational. There's 37 tables for people
So
to meet
this is
different
the
ministries, churches, and businesses.
Day after the baseball thing.
Right, we're making a whole weekend out of it.
Okay, so where is that?
In the Inner Harbor, Syracuse Inner Harbor,
great.
West
Yeah,
Pet,
Which is right around the
Patrick
corner
Street.
from us here, from the
Us at
Zoey
Zoey,
studio.
Right on the lake. We're gonna have some music, and it'll be a fantastic event.
So that's in the next weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. What time?
11 o'clock start, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, ending. And it's going to be entertainment all day long. And there's going to be stuff for people that just need hope and stuff for people who aren't being families.
You gotta
and
pay
kids
to
and
get
stuff.
in, or do I?
No, you just come on along and have a great time. You pay for the pony rides, I think, and the petting zoo might be a couple $. But there's all kinds of stuff. But as a rule, no, just come and have a
Is
good
there
time.
food?
Yes. Cam's Pizzeria, Charlie's Ice Cream, and Chick-fil-A are bringing all the food court. It's our first ever shot at this, but it's like a Christian jazz fest. Again, music is the centerpiece, entertainment, and
draws
meeting
people together.
So you're a business person. Just for a second, tell us about what business you're in. I know you have a passion for the Lord, and a passion for the things of God. But so how do those things connect?
So I was going to be a musician. The Lord got a hold of my life many years ago, and my day job changed. I didn't want that nightlife. It's a long story there, but my brother and I started Coffee King, coffee with a K. Look it up on the website with in my parents' garage. And now 40 some odd years later, my kids are working there. It's really grown, but I've learned that this also is a pulpit of influence. People want hope. They're not afraid for you to walk in and say, you know what, God loves you. How can I pray with you? And so the business is growing, the ministry is growing, because I'm finding everyone is just interested in getting a dose of hope. So you come, I have it, Tom. You guys know what it's all about.
Yeah.
When you have it, you want to give it away because you really care about people.
So Coffee King's not a coffee shop.
No, we deliver services to everybody: coffee, vending, micro markets, ice maker, water catering, everything refreshment services related. This is a commercial, and thank you for that.
No. It's getting to know what's. Go ahead,
I had
Tom.
forgotten that you owned it, and I saw one of your trucks the other day.
Yeah, we put our pictures on it. Our kids.
Yes.
My daughter's on the catering truck. People are calling left and right. They go. One guy says to my son, he goes, "Who's that girl? I want to meet her." Because that's my sister. Oh, sorry, the lasagna looked good.
Well, my wife and I saw the truck, and my wife over at the bank.
Yes, I do.
And I said, "Hey, that's Coffee King. That's Bolignon's thing."
And you said his name right.
I know Steve's never gets it right. I don't know. He calls me Joe, I think.
Boglioni. I got it.
No.
Yeah, close. It's all right.
Well, I had forgot that you had the business, but you do a great job with that. And anybody looking for those services should definitely call you. Did you know Tony Petricola by any chance? Does that
I
name
know
ring
the
a bell?
name. Is he?
Probably a
He
cousin.
used to run the Moose Club band.
Cousins.
Hey, he passed away a while ago, but he was 104.
He must be the
Talking
first
about
Italian guy I don't know. Yeah, my mother
Italian
lived to be
longevity.
98, and she did it by eating fried bologna, and it works.
Just to be clear, I am not Italian.
No, not even a little.
The Italians can, if you don't want to hear me, turn it off right now.
I'm sorry. It's Tom's fault. He brought it up.
Mom's going to be 90 in a few weeks.
That's right.
Wow, that's great.
And she plays the organ every week, just about every day at the airport. So she's got more energy than you and Tom put together here. So
Right.
So it's not just Italians.
She's got healthy organs.
Yes, she does. She does, and an awesome son.
Those are fantastic.
Oh, goodness. Well, anyway, that's Joe Bolignone over
Thank
there.
you.
Ken Mogg as well, a founder of Mission Syracuse.
Give the website, Tom.
It's mission-syracuse.com. If you don't know how to spell Syracuse, what are you doing here?
Yes.
Mission-syracuse.com. Thank you so much. We'll get people to go to the event.
Thanks, Tom.
And God bless you.
You too,
okay?
Steve. Thank you.
All right. We're coming right back with Dave Vollmer. He's the owner of Vollmer Farms for Onondaga Grown right here on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again, and that means you are too. Welcome to The Local Show, right here on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM. Also on YouTube, you can find us at Zoey Advertising. Just look up Zoey Advertising, and you will see a bunch of videos, and they're kind of fun to pull back the curtain, see what the guests look like, and see what the
people always
studio
say
look like.
Your voice is better than your picture. I've heard that.
Of course, yes, absolutely. Some people say my voice and my picture suck. So
you know, I like I've said before in the show, people are like, yeah, Steve, that guy, Tom, he's a great voice. I'm like, yeah, I know, Tom has a great voice.
Oh, golly. I don't know.
You were cursed with it, Tom.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Here's Dave Vollmer right now. He's new to the show. He's the owner of Vollmer Farms, and he's kind of representing Onondaga Grown. And you can see their website at vollmerfarms.net. How you doing there, Dave?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Dave, are you a farmer?
Oh, yes, I sure am.
I just wanted to be sure that you were a full-on farmer. How many generations of farming?
At this location, 3 or 4, depending on.
Good golly.
We have two separate farms. I live on the one that would be a 4th generation.
No kidding.
The other one's like a half a mile, quarter mile.
Where
away.
are they located?
They're out in the East Syracuse area, just off of 298, or right on 298, depending which one.
Okay.
You know, Tom, but a couple lifetimes ago,
yes,
I did aerial photos of that farm.
Oh yeah, I have those.
Okay, probably in 1990 or forever ago.
Yeah.
I have one hanging on the wall and several that I've taken down because we've had several over the years.
Okay,
no kidding.
Yeah.
So is that over by Fly Road and
Exactly.
everything?
Yep, very close to Fly Road.
Yeah, you remember the old Colomer Market?
Yeah, I do.
You go next door.
Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is wonderful. So years ago, let's take us to the Wayback Machine. So Little House on the Prairie was relevant, and all that. So was it your grandfather, your great grandfather, who was farming?
The main location now, my grandfather bought in 1925.
Okay.
And he moved when he got married from the location that I live in with his parents.
And what was he farming primarily back then?
Back then, it was all vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have any cattle or anything like that. So it was vegetables, and now it's some vegetables, but most of the business now is actually a greenhouse business where we sell plants in the spring for your home garden.
No kidding, yeah. You know, I was looking for a place this year to get my hanging plants and things. And yeah, I really, and I don't live too far away. I'm over off of South Bay Road.
Okay.
So I'm not too far away.
Yeah, you're up by
Yeah.
Williams or something like
that.
Yeah.
And I'll have to come by and check out. What is popular at this time of year that will last? I always ask that. What will last from now through into the fall?
Well, for something to buy now, the mums are going to be starting. We'll probably bring a few up this week. Actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And we still have some big pots, like a patio pot. You might.
Yeah, I like that. I want one of those.
We still have just a few of those left from this.
Tom's got a big pot.
I wasn't going to mention that.
So what's so hardy about a mum that the first time it snows it dies? Explain this to me.
Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't die. It doesn't die.
No,
they'll overwinter. They're hardy mums. So if you get a planted, then they come back every year.
I love the look of
for
a mum.
while anyway.
I don't want to take anything away from mums. They're beautiful.
Yep.
But I don't want that to just be the only flower in the fall. There's got to be other stuff that will keep blooming.
Yeah, you got stuff like wave petunias. They blossom right through first frost.
Okay, good.
And some of the
coleus.
Coleus is tender.
Okay.
They won't take a frost.
Zucchini.
They won't take a frost either.
People have pumpkins as they're laid out there. Yeah. I think pumpkins are pretty. I think pumpkins more interesting than a flower.
Well, it's a big color.
Right. It's a big color.
And you have pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
And you have tons of vegetables.
We raise pumpkins and tomatoes mostly, and then other stuff we substitute, or we don't substitute. We buy in fruits, and apples and oranges and. I shouldn't say oranges.
So why should people be curious about buying local?
Well, local, for one thing, it supports your local people.
Yeah.
And in the line of plants, we like to think that the plants that we grow are made for this area, and they're grown here. We start them from seed or very small cuttings,
right?
And they're grown right here. They're not shipped in on a truck where they sit in the dark for a couple of days.
Right.
So, the local money stays local. We spend it somewhere local, what we can. And it just helps
And
everybody.
I have a friend of mine,
out.
Tom.
Yeah.
They were over for dinner last week. He's a beekeeper.
Right.
Randy. And I learned a lot of things about that in how the flavor of the
Takes on
what's around it.
Around it, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these, and I don't know how anybody makes any money at honey, by the way. You do the math, I'm like, that is $2. But all the work that you do.
Yeah.
But locally, it's the health benefits.
Of honey, yeah.
But even like local honey,
Of anything, yep.
which I did
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well, you're using local flowers, so
Right.
that's alfalfa or whatever there is, all kinds of plants.
So what kind of make a list of things that you actually sell this time of year? What do you have? What can people get?
Well, right now we have our vegetable market open, so we have tomatoes, peppers, cabbage, zucchinis, and we also Pennsylvania peaches.
Eggplant?
Right
Do you
now.
have any eggplant?
We do occasionally, off and
Okay.
on, and I'll get some more as it gets a little later in the season.
Okay.
But tomatoes is our big thing.
Do you sell green?
Balmer
Do you sell
farms.
green ones or?
A few, but most people looking for them for either their salads, fresh.
Yeah.
And we sell a lot of stuff that people still can. Still a lot of people can.
You a green fried tomato guy, Tom?
No, not really.
I'm a green fried tomato guy.
yeah.
Have you ever had them?
I have not had them.
Okay, well, there are listeners.
I like tomatoes in general.
but this doesn't taste like a tomato. It's bitter.
It's different.
Yeah, it's
Okay, but it's like you like eggplant. You mentioned
I
that.
love eggplant,
So it's like
yes.
eggplant without the edge. There's, but my dad used to make green fried tomatoes. And it's like Dad's making green fried tomatoes, and you dip them in flour, or sometimes you can
I see.
do
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things
like
with
that.
some egg, and just delicious.
I made zucchini. I'll take a zucchini and I'll make it the same way you make an eggplant. Like I'll dip it and dredge it through the
Right.
egg and the
Right,
flour,
right. Yep.
and then bread it with the Parmesan cheese and breading, and then I'll make a casserole out of it. And yeah, zucchini.
Is a pumpkin that you carve up and make a lantern? Is that the same pumpkin that somebody eats?
Not generally, no. The pie pumpkins or the sugar pumpkins have a denser meat, and it's a little. It just has a better flavor. The other ones are really kind of punky inside. When you clean out the pumpkin, it's kind of loose and stuff. So it's a different one.
Do you sell both?
We do.
Okay.
Yep. We raise both.
The question burning in everybody's soul is right now is what is Indian corn?
Well, it's,
You know what I mean? It's
more
like-
like a cow corn, of course. It has to dry before you use
really?
it.
It's just like it's a prop, though.
Well, yeah.
Does- I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a
there-
decoration.
Okay, because
It's a decoration.
or like, and who eats gourds? What's the deal with those?
Decoration again.
Once again, yeah.
But it's seeded. Can you eat it or will you die?
Well, how many are you going to eat?
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
But your squashes, what's your most popular squash for eating?
Zucchini.
Zucchini, yeah. And your butternut. My grandparents used to love the butternut squash.
Butternut. You got your butternut, acorn. There's delicious Blue Hubbard. Those are all the fall hard.
Okay.
They call them hard squashes.
And you'll have those as
We
well.
do butternut and acorn. Yep.
Do you do the spaghetti squash?
We don't. Occasionally we get a call for it, and if I can find some, I'll buy a few. But you don't sell too many.
So Tom, who's the first one that said zucchini? Let's make bread out of it. How does those things equal each other?
Yeah, I don't know.
They always tell me it adds moisture, and I say use water. No.
No, but it's even people that don't like zucchini bread.
Zucchini bread is very good.
Yeah, I like zucchini bread. We sell that there at the market.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
So when is the market? So I go kind of at
What
the
are
end
the
of
hours? Yeah.
Northern Boulevard hits Malloy Road hits 298, and I go towards Colomer.
You turn left. Yep.
So I'm going. Is that
You're going east. Yep.
Okay. It's right up on the right.
It's on the right, about probably a quarter.
Okay. And when are you there? And when are you open?
The farm market itself, where we sell produce, is open late July through October.
Okay.
And 8 to 7 during the week, 8 to 5 Saturday, and 10 to 4 on Sundays.
And we can still get flowers and a variety.
There's a few. Mostly the mums will be the next thing.
So-
Yeah, we're pretty much done with all the stuff you'll be planting in your garden.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's too late for that.
All right. Well, thank you. So, yes, Onondaga Grown right here. And that's Dave Vollmer. Where did I put the sheet? Here we go. Dave Vollmer. Yes. Owner of Vollmer Farms. And you can see the whole family there, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few of us there.
Good. Just say, are there any Vollmers here? And somebody will raise their hand. All right. Thank you so much, Dave. And have a great season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Charlie Roman's coming up next. He's the owner of Daniela's Steakhouse and Daniela's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House right here on the local show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back again. Thank you for joining us, because if we're here, that means that you are too, right here on The Local Show. Tom and Steve, no vacations. You've got another one probably coming up very soon.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, we're going to have my son, who's been Air Force,
that's right.
traveled the world a bunch here, going to be coming through here in the next few weeks. So I will probably, we might do a weekend or something.
Very nice.
But I don't know if that qualifies, Tom.
Sure.
So we get George Powers from Powers Accounting to fill in. Then it's officially a vacation.
Yeah, right.
But I'm going to be around.
Okay. Well, that's good. Just you'll be around, and that makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, you're never comfortable.
That's great. Great to bring Charlie Roman back onto the show. He's the owner of Daniela's Steakhouse and Daniela's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House. How are you there, Charlie?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me the opportunity to spend a little quality time with two good-looking guys.
Isn't that nice
Wow.
of him?
And, hang on, I'll get him some glasses immediately.
Charlie, you've been in the restaurant business for quite a long time, right?
2 lifetimes.
Yeah, 2 lifetimes have gone by. But you know what's great about Charlie is, when I go over to Daniela's, if he hasn't seen me in a while, he'll remember me and he'll shake hands. How are you? All that. And you do that with a lot of your customers,
We're pretty fortunate. We've created a good brand and reputation in town.
Yeah, man.
A lot of our business is repeat business, obviously, which has certainly helped us to be successful.
Right.
I try to spend as much time on the floor as I can and make people feel comfortable when they come to our restaurants. So for us, it's a great opportunity.
And that's a lost art, man.
You don't see that anymore.
No.
Customer service seems to be a thing that's fading away, unfortunately.
Right.
So, and I got to be honest with you, I truly enjoy doing that. That's the good part of my job.
Yeah,
Right, so the 2 restaurants, tell folks where they are, because sometimes there's some confusion. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's a New York State Fair.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, yeah. I mean, the steakhouse is located on State Fair Boulevard, which is literally almost across the street from the fairgrounds.
Right.
It's located inside the Best Western Hotel. And then the other seafood and pasta house is located on the New York State Fairgrounds, right back behind Chevy Court in the little New York State Park area by the horticulture building. So we're located back in that corner. And some big space, different space.
Right.
Was that called the Empire Room way back in the day?
Yeah, it was the
day, it was the
Empire something. Yeah, I just had
Empire
that.
Room.
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
I try not to mention it because it takes us back to the 70s.
It does. Yeah. It was a while ago.
It was a long time ago.
And you're open during the fair, too.
Yeah, we're open during the fair, and we're
Nice.
open for dinner service 3 days a week, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And then during the fair, obviously, we're open for the whole 13 days. We don't do our seafood pasta house menu, but our cliche is we're Daniela's at the fair selling Daniela's food. We're not Daniela's at the fair selling fair food.
There you go.
Very nice.
But there's go up towards the Native American village, Tom. Up that way. You're up that way too, right?
There's another one.
No, we're no longer at that location.
Okay.
We gave it up last year.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Last year was our last year. This year they won't see us there.
Okay.
So someone else is taking over the stand. It's a New York State property. So
Gotcha.
they awarded the contract to somebody else.
So if you want Daniela's, right next to the horticulture building, tucked in the corner there.
That's correct, right behind Chevy Court.
Yeah, and you got a bar there and everything, right?
We've got a beautiful air-conditioned bar, huge
nice.
bar. You got a beautiful patio with amazing curb appeal. If you get to see the flowers and the plants up there, it's heartwarming. It's really cool.
No.
So if you had to suggest to someone what to eat when they go there,
I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody when they ask that question at the restaurant. You go to an Italian restaurant, you should try something Italian.
Yeah.
You go to a seafood restaurant, you should try some seafood. You go to a steakhouse, you should probably try the steaks.
So you have seafood there, or during the fair, or
During
no?
the fair, yeah, we do a shrimp burger. No one at the fair does a shrimp burger.
yeah.
We do steamed clams. No one does steamed clams at the fair.
Okay. How about just a nice haddock sandwich or a big haddock meal?
We do a fresh cod. We do
cod,
a
okay,
cod
that's
platter, a fresh fish platter, which we do with fries.
Can I get lobster?
You can get a lobster roll. We do lobster rolls also. We got a couple new dishes that we're debuting, a fried pork tenderloin sandwich. No one at the fair does that. But again, it's fair food, so to speak, but it's Daniela's style.
Yeah, we would come out
that's
of
great.
so New York State maple. Everybody probably knows, we do stuff with New York State Maple,
sure.
their booth there. We would go over there and then come out after doing our thing there, and then we go over to you.
Yeah.
Come out the building at that end door, and that's
And
kind
I
of
like
one of our
that you
stops.
can eat outside
Yeah, it's
over
nice.
there.
We got a
You
beautiful
the
patio.
umbrellas, yeah.
We've got waitress and waiter service.
Beautiful.
So gender neutral service, we call it now.
I was just going to say the ladies are great, but I can't say that, Tom. We can't say they are.
Yeah, so we got table service, we got air conditioning. You got a nice chance to chill at the fair without waiting in a hotline somewhere. So it's a nice opportunity.
I'll let you buy me some a beer.
I will, Tom.
A beer or 5.
If I can get you over, if I can get you over there.
Yeah, I'd like to go there. I think we're going to go over to the fair more.
Yeah. Well, helicopter in, Tom.
Yeah, right.
You can land right behind our patio.
That's beautiful. So over at the Daniella's Steakhouse, now there's not too many steakhouses in town. What makes you special, and where do you get your meats from?
I think that I think our staff makes us special. I think our chefs make us special. We're very consistent with our products. We've been using the same purveyors and products for the last 15 plus years. A company out of Rochester that we get all of our proteins from, Palmer Foods.
Okay.
A shout out to them.
Heard of them,
Very successful for us. We're actually their largest account in Syracuse, which is kudos to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very consistent for us. And we just, I tell my staff, I get, again, a quick analogy.
Yes.
Everybody in town can buy the same products that we buy. We just got to do a better job at it.
Yeah. Now, I remember having your greens. You have...
Yep, we've got our Daniella's greens. Greens are like pasta sauce.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own recipe. Everybody likes it
Right.
a certain way, a little thicker, a little thinner. We got a recipe that's very successful for us and very well received and liked, and it's one of our
I love
top
them.
appetizers.
Yes.
And it's when you go into the one, and it's next to the hotel there. What's the...
Correct.
Best Western.
Best Western.
Yeah.
So that's where I think,
Right.
it's... it's not this ginormous place. There's an intimacy.
It's small,
You've got
it's
probably
intimate,
15
yes.
tables or whatever you have in there, but there's always kind of room, and if you have to wait a little bit, they talk to you. There's a relationship.
Yep.
And when people talk online, they say, I went to Daniella's.
Well, it's always a special time when
It's
you
a
go to
good vibe.
Daniella's.
It's a very positive vibe there.
And you do have like a room that's kind of in the back where I sat with like 15, 20 people.
We do that also. There's a small room there that the hotel allows us to use on the weekends.
I didn't know
if we need
that.
to,
Yes.
For overflow dining, for larger
Right.
parties that we can't fit in the main room. So it gives us that little bit of extra leverage that, again, for a very small room, it kind of gives us some limitations.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do a private, maybe...
Like if Zoey Advertising wanted to do a
have 10
Christmas
people come
holiday
over there,
party, yeah.
we could have a private room and have...
We'd love to do some trade with you.
Yeah. Oh, there. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Tom will work for food,
Yes.
just to be clear.
Well, his food I'll work for.
That's true.
That's a good one.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So anything over at the fair that's new or different this year? I mean, you named a couple of products and everything.
Yeah, the pork tenderloin sandwich is something new that no one is doing at the fair, but we are featuring that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Something new that we brought in.
So how should pork be cooked? Let's be honest.
People think that they shouldn't be cooked, that it should be cooked well done, but it doesn't need to be. You can do a medium pork.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not so sure about medium rare, but that's, if someone wants to, it's not going to hurt you.
Right.
The people have this stigma that I see some pink in pork and I can't eat it.
Right.
Not true.
I grew up where pork was the enemy of all meat because it was cooked so long and so
they dry
dry.
it right out,
It was
yeah.
can we just not have it?
Yeah.
Because people were afraid they would get ill from it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
good. Are you looking for anybody to work at your places?
I'm going to be very frank with you again. We're very fortunate. We got a full staff at both restaurants.
Okay.
We got a very longevity staff that's been with us.
Good.
Some of our employees have been with us 30 plus years.
Wow.
Middle management 20 plus years. Servers 5 to 10 years. We don't get a lot of turnover, fortunately.
Good.
So they must like the food.
Yeah. Or you.
Or maybe me.
Yeah, that can't be it.
Absolutely not.
It's the culture.
That's wonderful. Well, say hello to Charlie Roman if you see him out there. He is a wonderful person and a restaurateur and has done a lot for this community. Thank you so much for what you do, Charlie.
My pleasure.
All right. Owner of Daniella's Steakhouse and Daniella's Fresh Seafood and Pasta House. And go see them at the fair. Steve, coming up next on hour number 2, we're going to have a conversation with Josh Lang. He's the pastor at Redeemer Church in Syracuse. Jimmer Sokowski stops by. He's the owner-operator of Chick-fil-A in Cicero and Clay. And And then Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions, it is Sheila.
Yes, and the rabbit lady.
Oh, the bunny lady. Don't let me forget her.
Yes.
That's right. Annie Laurie Hunter.
Yes, from Save the Rabbits.
Save the Rabbits. Right here on The Local Show. Stick around. Hour number 2 starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Josh Lang, pastor at Redeemer Church here in Syracuse, and Jimmer Soccocio, franchise owner, operator of Chick-fil-A in Cicero and Clay. And then we're going to talk to Hunter Hollow. That's Annie Laurie, who she kind of rehabilitates bunnies. We'll teach you how to get a bunny. She'll be on the show. And then Sheila Ostrom wraps us up. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions, all here in hour number 2 of The Local Show. Stick around. Let's get some redemption and some enthusiasm going on here with Pastor Josh Lang. He's the pastor of Redeemer Church in Syracuse, and believe it or not, he lets Steve in.
Well, church is a place for
redemption,
broken people, and which would be all of us. And maybe I'm at the head of the parade.
Well,
okay. That's fine.
That's true. How are you there, Josh?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on again, guys.
Well, thank you. You guys are located right across from Nottingham High School.
Yep.
Over there, and they consider that DeWitt, Steve? Is that
that's
actually
still DeWitt?
It's Syracuse.
Oh, is it across the line?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a quarter mile down where the line happens.
Right.
So,
how has that new location been working out for you?
It's been great. When we talk about when I ask people when they visit how they found us, the top reasons are I saw your sign. Right. And so that's huge in and of itself. And then actually the radio.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
This radio.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, you're doing something right over here.
Oh, well, actually, our audience, Tom, is so old they actually can't change the station. We're the older demographic. I'm sorry if I offended you. I meant it. I get it. So the number, it doesn't change. It's seized up.
Actually, it's a younger audience these days that is listening to talk radio.
No, it is.
It used to be very old, but not anymore. Anyway, so what makes Redeemer Church something that people want to go to?
Well, I think a couple of things that I've heard of late from folks is they appreciate how we are trying our hardest to make sure we're putting Christ at the center of things and trying to find out how we can be faithful to what we see in Scripture. But also another thing is I just had somebody newer visit and they said, I can't believe how friendly you people are. And that really was from the moment they came in the door to the moment they left.
The building isn't friendly. It's the people. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for that clarifying point there. See, is the folks. We just have a great group of folks in our church who are genuinely interested in folks who come in the doors and take that big step of crossing our threshold.
So I'm going to tell a story about Josh. Is that okay, Tom?
Just go ahead.
So Josh just got worried. So here a week or two ago, Josh was sharing.
Okay.
And he was telling me a story about how, you're doing things, you're trying to do them right. You're trying to serve the Lord. And then you drop your guitar and it breaks into a whole bunch of little pieces. Did I exaggerate at all?
Just a little bit. I still have that guitar.
But it's a kit guitar now. But there's something to that where we are trying to do things right. And I loved your transparency, Josh.
Yeah.
So we're doing things and we're to the best we can. And then sometimes life doesn't go right. And you think, okay, Lord, I'm serving you. I've got it. And then, then my guitar breaks and life happens.
Yes,
it does.
A lot of people have approached me with that scenario and say, I'm not a believer because, my buddy, really served the Lord and really loved Jesus and he's got cancer now. So you say, well, why? How do those things happen? And does that constitute, not believing?
Well, I would say no. And with what we see in Scripture is there's this promise from Jesus that he is going to be with us always. But there's this also there's this promise before that where he also says this: in this life you will have trouble. And so the thing is, that does go together. And so the Christian faith is unique in that there is a person at the center of it, being Jesus Christ, who we are putting our faith, our hope, and our trust in. He is the way. He's not a way to the way. He is the way. And the thing also that we understand here is this: is he's in the business of redemption. And so just as Steve was jokingly talking about the broken pieces, and broken people, God does amazing things with broken pieces. And things that you and I sometimes don't have the vision to see forward on, he can see what we cannot see. And so as a Christian, we have to say, all right, these are the promises that we've been given by a person who really did live, really did die, and really did rise again. And so if he said that, I'm going to trust that, even when my eyes don't see it. And that's, yes, faith, but if you think about it, every day we're putting our faith in someone or something. Every time you get on an airplane, you're putting your faith
Good example.
in that airplane that it's going to get you from point A to point B. When you get in your car, you're going to have faith in that car.
But don't some people try to fly the plane?
Yeah, and that's not a good idea.
But seriously, where we say, okay, well, we have to participate in this flying of the plane in faith, and sometimes liturgy and other things come in. How do you unpack that with people say, well, if I do this and do this and check this box and, somehow God will be more likely to accept me, or I control it. Somebody years ago said, well, the Bible says God helps those that help themselves. I go, no, it doesn't. And they're like, I'll show you the verse. Yeah, really? A guy actually said that to me. And I go, I'll show you the verse. I go, yeah, dig that out. I hadn't heard from him.
So the unique thing about the Christian faith is that we contribute nothing to our salvation. And so we put our faith, our hope, and our trust in a Savior who has done everything for us.
What's salvation?
And so salvation is we've all got this problem with sin, right? And sin is doing what we want instead of what God wants. Sin is living this life as if God did not exist, and it creates all kinds of chaos that we see around us. And so we try to fix it by trying harder, being better, doing this, that, and the other thing, but we can't. So God, in his love for us, sent Jesus to do for us what we could not do. And he lived a perfect life. He went to the cross, he died again, and 3 days later he rose again. And we see that as the receipt that what Jesus accomplished actually did happen and is there for us.
That sounds great, but how does someone get in the game? People that maybe raised, I've heard this my whole life. How does
because a lot of people think that being Christian, you have to do these great works and you have to do missionary work and you have to drag other people kicking and screaming to church, and they think that's all part of it.
Well, it's a recognition that you need a Savior. And that all the other saviors that you've put your hope and trust in that have failed you, you're going to push those aside, and you're going to put your faith and hope only in God to rescue you from sin. And what happens is when you do that, Christ takes our sin. He gives us his righteousness. So now we are starting not based on what we've done, but based on something that has been done for us. And now we can move forward into the life that God's called us to.
For most people, that's a defining moment. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's a defining moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it seems relatively easy because some of the other faiths, like, Catholic, you have to do things. You have to.
Well, here's the thing: is when
go to
a
confession
heart
and all
truly experiences sheer grace. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about sheer grace, is like you understand that there's nothing you can contribute to this. Your heart is now motivated to do different things. And so, for example, when I first met my wife, before she was my wife, all of a sudden now my priorities changed. How I spent my money, where I spent my time and all this stuff. And so this greater affection determined the things I said yes to and the things that I said no to.
Yeah. Love this. I love the song, Amazing Grace. So sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me, meaning, I didn't save myself.
Yeah.
And because as I couldn't, but thank you, Josh. Redeemer Church across from Nottingham High School.
Right.
10 o'clock Sunday. Put your jeans on, wear shoes if you want. It's a pretty casual place. And my friend that I love here, Josh.
And learn more. Yeah, you can learn more right there. Thank you, Josh. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Okay. Coming up next, Jimmer Soccocio. He's the franchise owner operator of both of the Chick-fil-A's here in town. And we'll have a conversation with him next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found The Local Show. Thank you for hanging out with Tom and Steve. Right here from Zoey Advertising, I'm Tom Soccocio Jr., the creative director at Zoey Advertising, along with Steve Roberts. He's the owner of Zoey Advertising. We champion local businesses, and that's why we bring you The Local Show, because we want you to know who and what is going on in the business world and community, because it is a community around Syracuse in Central New York. And our reach is pretty big. You were talking to somebody, they were saying they heard it over where?
Down in Cortland.
Down in Cortland,
and it goes strong towards the Utica area. We get people in the North Country. And then, of course, online. Anywhere all the time, right?
All the time.
So at the Zoey Advertising website, you can hear the downloads or on the iHeart app. Or if you want to see Tom, I understand the risk.
That's right.
YouTube, go to Zoey Advertising, and there it is.
That's it. You can see us. Hey, look, it's great to bring back Jimmer Soccocio. He is a longtime business person in our community and opened up the Chick-fil-A's, so a lot of people fly his flag and give him applause because everybody loves Chick-fil-A. How are you, Jimmer?
I am well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And thank you for being here. And, she's not going to be talking on the mic because, she doesn't want to take over or anything. But Betty, Jimmer's wife, is here as well. So you can see her
and Jimmer married up. Let's just be clear.
Of course.
100%.
Just in case there's any doubt. I don't mean to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jimmer, you got involved with Chick-fil-A how many years ago?
It's going on 6 years, Tom.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that all? I keep thinking it's like, 10, 15 years. But
Well, I've aged in dog years, so that might explain it.
that does explain a little bit.
Yeah.
And what did you do before you got involved with Chick-fil-A?
I was at IBM for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
A supply chain executive.
Oh, great.
Boring.
Hang on. I want to quiz Tom. Tom, what does IBM stand for?
IBM?
Yeah. What's it stand for?
Oh, I don't know.
See? International Business Machines?
Wow.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Well, I dress to impress.
That's very good.
So 6 years ago, you woke up and said, I'm going to own a Chick-fil-A. And you applied and they said, get over here. You're our guy.
Something like that. I probably woke up first and thought, man, I think God wants me to do something more impactful with my life. And I had no idea what.
So fast food rushes to mind, right?
Yeah. In fact, when I was first asked by a friend from Chick-fil-A if I'd ever thought of being a Chick-fil-A operator, my answer was a resounding no.
Yeah, right.
But here I am.
6 years later.
Yep.
A couple of stores.
Yeah.
Is there going to be another one? Somebody had asked me about another Chick-fil-A that was happening.
They are coming.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Is that because of your success? They figured,
Certainly that factored in.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Syracuse is a big place, actually, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure the people in Camillus would love one.
Right, of course.
And over on the east side, they'd love one. So more are on the way.
Yeah, I feel like Chick-fil-A, it's like Jesus. They're coming soon. We just don't know when. And they don't tell anybody. So so be ready, Tom.
Yeah, that's great that they are coming because you got a great menu. What's new for the summer?
The peach milkshake is back.
Come on.
My wife loves peach.
I had one. Okay.
Yes. Don't act surprised. Steve. You're there all the time.
I had it, and when I see Ike's like, cookies and cream. No, he's got me. And there's 6 million calories.
Of course.
But it's worth it.
That is not true. No.
Is it more than that?
No.
Yes.
Slightly less. So Chick-fil-A's rocking. What's going on in Jimmer's life?
Well, I'm blessed with a beautiful family. I'm blessed with beautiful people at my restaurant, both guests and team members. Had a nice little vacation last week.
I saw pictures on the beach.
Yeah, we were out at Cape Cod.
Yeah, I saw that.
So Jimmer's life is pretty amazing, but it's challenging.
Tell me more.
Well, as you know, I have ALS, and it's a progressive disease, and it has started to affect my voice, which is hard. But I'm reminded that it can't affect my voice, capital V. Capital V, not small v. So yeah, it's a crazy mix of hard and awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how have you overcome or started to overcome these major challenges?
One day at a time, I try to surrender. Yeah.
To Betty?
I surrendered that a long time ago to Jesus, one day at a time. And when I do that, life is awesome. And when I don't, it's hard.
Isn't it still hard?
It's not easy, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I see your posts and see your heart.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing. Everyone would say you were a strong person. I don't know how strong anybody is until they face real adversity. They can posture and they can be leaders.
Yeah.
But your strength comes from another source.
That's what I was about to say. I'm not strong. He is.
How do you talk to your employees about what you're going through and what the future of the Chick-fil-A's is?
Yeah, I've committed to them that I'm going to do this as long as I can at the highest level. And I don't envision that not happening anytime soon. And the longer I'm at this, I realize sometimes, Tom, I don't have to communicate anything. Mm-hmm. I just have to show up.
Right.
Show up and show them I love them. And that says everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you ever get bitter? Like, why is this happening to me?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have had major wrestling matches with God. Mm-hmm. Major. Yeah. It's easy to go there.
Yeah.
Things were going pretty well for me, Tom.
Yeah.
Before this. But I have to remind myself that they still are going pretty well for me.
Right.
When I go there and I'm wrestling, I just turn to him and ask for help.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody that's struggling now?
You cannot do it on your own.
Yeah.
We're not designed that way. You need help. You need God's help. You need the help of the people that God puts in your life. You need help.
Yeah, I heard someone say, "Yeah, God won't give you more than you can handle," and I said, "Baloney,"
Yeah.
because He will allow it, but then we have to rely and trust in Him.
Yeah.
Correct. It brings you closer.
Yeah.
So thank you for your heart, Jimmer.
My pleasure.
Yes. God bless you, Jimmer, and your teams. And thank you for bringing Chick-fil-A first. You're the first to bring it to Syracuse. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we're going to be talking with Sheila Ostrom. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. So stick around for that segment coming up on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in, folks. You've got The Local Show with Tom and Steve, where we champion local businesses and talk about what they do, and we'll get into some multi-generational businesses, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York. It's all good business talk right here on 570 WSYR. We have somebody new to the show right now, Steve. If you've ever seen a rabbit before, now you can see one close up. Her name is Annie Laurie Hunter. How are you, Annie?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you. Oh, us, because she's got a rabbit with her.
She's bearing gifts,
and she didn't pull it out of her hat. She just brought it out of a little kennel thing.
Right.
So, Annie, tell me, are you a local gal? Were you born and raised here in Syracuse?
I spent 7 years of my childhood here. And then I was part of the mass exodus of 72.
The mass exodus of
72. Oh, my goodness. And where'd you go?
I went to Pennsylvania and then Eastern New York and then Rhode Island,
wow,
New York City, and came back here.
What did you do that for? Was it work taking you places or?
Parents.
Oh,
yes.
Parents.
The mass exodus is 72. I was 10.
Oh, right. Yes. Here we go.
Yeah, they were like, get in the back of the car.
that would be the size of it, yes.
Yeah.
That's just, so when did you pick up a rabbit?
So I've been doing rescue for 20 years. When I was in New York City, I had a bunny, and it ended up being the comfort bunny for Rescue 1. When the trade towers fell down.
Oh,
wow.
And because I lived next door to Rescue 1.
I didn't know that was a thing with bunnies, yeah.
So she was a rescue bunny, a comfort bunny. And then when I came up here to Syracuse, I was working in rescue as a foster parent for other groups, and then opened up Hunter Hollow.
So why do rabbits need to be rescued?
Because if you buy 2 rabbits at the pet store, chances are they're not the same gender. And bunnies have a 30-day gestation period.
Okay, Tom, don't make Tom do the math.
Yeah, but that's quick, in other words.
Well, every time they have a litter, they can get pregnant again.
Oh, my gosh.
So when you've got 2 bunnies, suddenly you have got 10 bunnies.
Ooh.
And then you've got 18 bunnies.
Yeah,
and then it
goes
exponentially as they mature.
That's where the expression comes from. I've heard that before.
That is where it comes from.
So do people buy bunnies and rabbits that shouldn't?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, if you can buy a bunny at a pet store, they're not spayed or neutered.
Okay.
All of ours are spayed, neutered, and vaccinated. And so we don't have the explosion problem. Mm-hmm. So then we're down to just life change issues. Sometimes people get sick. Yeah. Or they have to move, or their family dynamic changes and they need to get rid of their bunny. And that's who we're really for.
Yeah.
But we end up with all kinds of bunnies from explosions.
Gotcha. What's your educational background? I mean, do you have a veterinary degree, or
do you just love bunnies?
Or do you just love bunnies?
No, I have a degree in psychology and education and social work. So by profession, I'm a home inspector.
Well, those things naturally. I was going to say that because those things
they all go together. So this is an all volunteer organization. Wow.
Oh, okay.
So tell us about. Am I able to hold the bunny, or is that
Sure.
do you need a permit to do that?
This is Hilarious. He's 1 year old.
Hello, Hilarious.
That's interesting because Steve is hilarious.
So if people, hello, Hilarious. So online web viewers can see.
Yes, the YouTube. You can see this beautiful
YouTube can
bunny.
see this beautiful little bunny.
Our bunnies. We had a bunny at one point. We have two daughters, and of course, when they were teens, gotta have a bunny, gotta have a bunny. I said, they're a lot of work. You really need to take care of it and this and that. Because sometimes the cage would be littered with litter.
Your wife told you the same thing for you, Nicholas, didn't
Well, that's true, too, before we had the boy. But, I guess the point is that I really thought that the bunny would be more social, more like a cat with us after a while. Is there any time that bunnies are like a dog or a cat where they're very affectionate?
Some bunnies love to be held. Mm-hmm. Other times there's bunnies that they want to be in the room with you. So they're sort of aloof like a cat, but they want to be with you.
So they are a social animal.
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. What about what's the difference between Hilarious here and some of the bunnies you have and the bunnies that are under my shed? And I say it nicely because they're like pets. We got about 5, 6, 7 of them.
Great. Those are cottontails.
Okay.
The eastern cottontail is a wild animal. Hilarious is a domestic rabbit, and they're two different breeds. The two cannot.
Really?
Yeah, the eastern cottontail is a native North American breed.
Okay.
Domestic rabbits all of them come from European breeds, so they cannot intermingle. They
That's
are
a great question.
completely different
I didn't know that.
species.
Okay.
So a rabbit. So I mean,
and you're pretty confident that the ones under my shed are cottontails.
They're brown. They've got a white bellies.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
them.
you saw them.
Yeah.
So if a domesticated rabbit runs away, that's not good because
No, that's called a feral domestic.
Oh, okay.
And those, if somebody finds a feral domestic, we automatically take those in.
Okay.
I mean, right now we're 4 times our capacity.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So do you encourage people to come and adopt?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're having big time this weekend, getting people to adopt. We've got extended hours from 9 to 4, Saturday and Sunday. And then over Labor Day weekend, we'll have a big adoption event. We've got 120 bunnies ready for adoption.
Good golly.
So how do they do that?
Yeah, how do you make that happen?
They contact me. We do a phone interview, make sure they be a good fit for a bunny, make sure they're allowed to have a bunny.
Right. Yeah.
Because the reason that we get bunnies is somebody brought them home from the fair and mom went, not in my house.
Right.
Or they went and got a bunny from the pet store and then the landlord saw it.
Yeah, right.
So we want to make sure that the bunny's going to have a stable home, throughout its life, because it should be a lifetime commitment, which is 10 to 12 years.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, 10 to 12 years. That's great.
Yeah. And we want to help people learn to take care of the bunnies. So we have, volunteer times. Everything we do is volunteer.
Yeah. How smart is a bunny?
They can count to 4. They have a 4-month memory. They can figure things out. If they're motivated, they'll figure out how to do stuff.
Right. So when you come home, does the bunny run over Wagged's tail and knock the door down to give you a hug and a kiss like a dog would?
The bunny will come and say hi.
It will.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not like a cat.
Not like a cat. And bunnies know their schedule. They know when it's dinner time. They know when it's time for sitting down and being quiet. And
that's interesting. Now, should anyone ever take the rabbits that are under the shed or under the deck and try to make them domestic pets?
It won't work.
It just won't.
They're wild animals, and every time you enter the room, they're going to panic. Even if you raise them as babies, which I do because I'm a wildlife rehabber.
Okay.
So when they get to a certain age, they start panicking when I enter the room. That's how I know it's time to release them. And off they go into the wild. You can't get past that with a cottontail.
I see.
So I'm holding this bunny.
Yes,
and
wonderful.
I don't know.
Isn't he wonderful?
He's
very
wonderful.
Yeah.
And if again, folks on YouTube can see, I thought he'd be squirming and try to get away. He's just loving life as I just pet him.
That's hilarious. He's 1 year old. He's ready to go. He came in because people couldn't take care of him anymore. He's been neutered, vaccinated, and
that's wonderful.
So hunterhollow.org is the information, and people can find the information there in the business. If you want to call and ask a bunny question, 315 area code, that's the big one, Tom.
Yes.
463-6757. Questions about bunny, 463-6757. Hunter Hollow.
All right. Annie Laurie Hunter right there. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, Steve, I don't know what we're doing. I got to be honest with you. Oh, Sheila. We'll talk with Sheila Ostrom.
Oh, that's it. Oh, hey, we love Sheila. Senior Home Care Solutions.
That's right. Coming up on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back at it. Here we are. Last segment of the show with Tom and Steve. It's The Local Show, folks. If you were wondering where you are, you're on The Local Show on WSYR. Now, you could be listening on 570 WSYR, or you might be on 106.9 FM, or you might be on the stream, which comes on the iHeartRadio app. For those of us who are wealthy and privileged, we have tablets in our refrigerators, so I get to listen to.
You do, I know.
I get to listen to it on my
not all of this can be you, Tom. When I grow up,
surely
I don't want to be you.
I heard about that refrigerator on the last show.
Oh, yeah, it's fun stuff. Yeah. All right, so tell me about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, because,
it's real easy.
They've been with us.
If you've got an old will, update it. If you haven't put your home in a trust and you want to protect it for the kids, have a conversation with them. The myth that, trusts are only for really, really rich people. Okay, you're wrong. They're for regular people that want to protect for the next generation and not have long-term care gobble it up. Have a conversation. You've been putting it off. Call 370-9977.
Yes.
370-9977. John and Marie and the team at safeharborwillsandtrust.com, Tom.
One of my favorite people on the show is not you, oddly enough. It's Sheila Ostrom. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. How are you there, Sheila?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, gentlemen?
Good, good, good. So, Sheila, you got into this business how many years ago?
12 years.
It's been 12 years. Mm-hmm. Your mom had a dementia?
She did, vascular dementia.
Okay.
Yep.
And you were taking care of her and you thought, boy, I'd love to help other people. Is that how it went?
And I wanted to do it better.
Good. And how did you do it better? What do you got going? What is your business model?
The biggest thing is doing care with people in a thoughtful way. Mm-hmm. People with dementia experience things differently, and their brains are broken, so you need to approach them differently. So we do a lot of training with the positive approach to care from TIPA Snow with our employees, and we also teach dementia and also counsel families on dementia in different ways that they can work with their people.
Sure. And you have a dementia training program that's online, and you've often done it live, right?
We do both.
Yeah.
We do both, yep. Online all over the country, and then we also do it in person.
So how does it work if somebody wanted to just hop on? And I believe you don't have to have a member in the family who's got dementia. You could just learn about it, right?
Yeah, we've done it for lots and lots of people. And if they go to the website, our website at SyracuseSenior.com, the link is there to find out when the next dates are.
Excellent.
Yeah. I learned some things just, probably a year ago now. You guys were doing some training videos and how you approach people differently that have some dementias, and Alzheimer's is one of those dementias. I learned that. Mm-hmm. It's different. So you think, well, I'll just do it this way.
Right. It's not logical.
It's not logical.
Think out of the box.
And it can be incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
I mean, my dad had some dementia. I don't think he had Alzheimer's. He had some dementia, short-term memory. Mm-hmm. And part of you wants to go, there's a little frustration, but there were certain ways that he would grasp it and receive it. And at the time, I didn't understand the difference. And there's big differences, right?
There's a huge difference. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to sponsor the Dementia Care Conference. It's coming up in October.
Yeah.
Which we're really excited about. It's called Living with Dementia 2023. And it is going to encompass all of the, upstate area and all of the counties in the upstate area to help anybody out there who's helping a family member or they have friends that they want to help better find resources. So we are going to be putting that on, and it's going to be October 24th at the Embassy Suites across from the Destiny Mall.
So, okay.
What's that look like?
Yeah, Tom and I are like, okay, unpack that. I go in, and what am I hearing? Who am I talking to? What problems am I solving?
So we have a very jam-packed agenda. We're still finalizing a few of the pieces because we're trying to get as much into it as we can.
Sure.
So some areas we're like, okay, we need more time here and less time here. But with the dementia conference that we have coming up, we are going to start out with a keynote speaker, and we'll talk more about that specifically as we go forward. And here's some of the things that we're going to be talking about. We are going to have difficult dementia behaviors, how to deal with that, skills, tips, and tricks.
But I'm going to pause you for a second. So who is this? Is this for Tom or I or a listener that has someone in that space, or is this for a nurse or a doctor or a professional?
It is for regular people that are dealing with dementia and all professionals. It'll be a mix of both. There'll be professional caregivers and what they call casual caregivers. Not my favorite industry term, but anybody who has a friend or a family member or they are helping with dementia. So it is open to anybody.
All right, continue. I just want to say who's that for? Okay.
Yeah, and one of the big parts of our morning session is going to be about community resources. We're going to have a roundtable with a variety of people who can help people find answers. Where do I go for daycare, adult daycare for my mom with dementia? Is there a social day program that I can do? Is there a free program? What free programs are out there because I can't afford to pay for programs? So this whole conference is about the community and making sure that people can find the resources that they want and need. And some of them are, fee for service, and some of them are free, and some of them are on a sliding scale. So that's a big portion of it. We're going to talk about medications. We're going to talk about engagement. One of the big things people call us all the time, and other Office of the Aging offices, because they work with us a lot, is how do I engage my person who has dementia? How do I keep them busy? Because they need to be busy and have a purpose. Mm-hmm. People talk about it, but they don't show you how to do it. Yeah. So we're going to do a whole interactive session. It's basically an interactive live show and tell where we're going to have all these different types of engagement things, and we're going to show you how to work with your person. Wow. And get them engaged in different activities depending on where they are in the disease state.
Are you having people sign up in advance so you know how many people are coming, or do you?
Yes, we have a limited number of people that can attend, so you do have to sign up, and you can go to our, there's two ways you can go. You can go to our webpage, SyracuseSenior.com, and there's a link on there for the conference, or you can go to SyracuseSenior.com/event, and it'll come up that way. The big thing is with this is we are not making any money on this conference. Every single cent is going towards the speakers, the programming, and basically the cost of having a place. Right. That's the big expense. And if there's any monies left over, we're going to donate all of that to the Memory Care Cafe.
So wonderful. You seem pretty wound up about this.
Oh, I'm so excited. I know. I mean, we're going to have a legal panel. We're going to talk about Medicaid planning, MOLST, powers of attorney, living wills, healthcare proxies, why it's important to have them and what the difference is. Just because you can sign on your mom's account, that's not good enough. If your mom dies, that signature dies with her. Yeah. So you need to have things set up ahead of time.
So people can just to wrap things up a little bit. People can see all that information.
Yep.
At SyracuseSenior.com.
Correct.
And they can sign up there and put the bio. You'll see it right there.
Yes.
If they want to have questions, they can go 469-1000.
That is correct. And the cost to attend is only going to be $25 per person.
Oh my gosh.
But we do have, I'm creating a scholarship fund so that if that is a hardship for someone, they just have to let us know.
Sign up now. It's going to be a full house. People are going to come to that.
It is.
Sheila Ostrom right there, owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Awesome. All right, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show, and you can go off and maybe get a little boating in. I know that your boat was underwater a little bit, but...
Thanks for reminding me. You're a big friend.
Bail out and do some fishing right there. God bless you and your families, folks. Take a walk every day, this and every day, with a friend or family member. It keeps the weight down and the mind clear. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.